Hello, welcome, Swadikard. My name is Rob, and this is my hospital room. For those that have followed my community tab, you'll see that I've been in hospital now for the past 5 days, and oh man, it is grim, just like my haircut and my face and absolutely everything. But you know what, I've just been discharged, so I'm sorting all my stuff out and I get myself out of here, and I'd like to tell you guys about my experience here in a Bangkok hospital, because I am still sick. Unfortunately, I do have some kind of a virus, but they have allowed me to go home, which is absolutely amazing. I can't wait to get out of here. So yeah, without further ado, I want to sort my stuff out and get out of it, and then tell you guys more about my experience here in a Bangkok hospital. So it is a few days later after I recorded that intro, and I'm feeling a lot better. I've had a haircut, so I'm starting to look a little bit more human. It's a little bit windy here. I'm actually here in Bang San. I'm going to be making a video about this, so don't forget to subscribe to catch that in a few days. So what happened? Where do I even start? This video is obviously about my experience in a Bangkok hospital and with the medical services and everything else. Now, I'm sure things are going to be completely different from one person's experience to another. And obviously different hospitals as well will probably have like different facilities and ways of doing things. But let me start from the beginning. Now, I've been traveling to Thailand for coming up to 6 years now. And in that time, I've actually been to a hospital, I think 4 times. This is obviously the longest period of time I've spent in a hospital where I've actually had to stay overnight. But I've had a few experiences with Thai hospitals and Thai medical services. And for the most part, it's always been really good. I've actually had times when I've been to A&E here in Thailand. It was actually in Pattaya, and I was in and out after seeing a doctor with medication in my hand within 30 minutes. That's how good things are here. Now, on the flip side of that, that is because many hospitals here in Thailand are private hospitals, so you're going to get that level of service. So let me start from the beginning of what happened with myself, because obviously this is not my opinion, this is based on my experience, like I said. Now, I felt under the weather for a good few days, probably about 4 or 5 days actually, and I woke up in the morning one morning, I was just like, right, I have to go to the hospital. I felt that bad, and it's a good thing I did as well. I asked a Thai friend which hospital to go to, and she suggested to go to the Paulo hospital in Bangkok. What I'll do is I'll link that below as well, and I asked her why she chose that hospital over any other, and she basically said it's kind of like a mid-range hospital. It's not too expensive, because there are some really expensive hospitals here in the city of Bangkok. So yeah, we ended up going down there, and straight away I was sort of like checked for all my vital signs. They took basically all of my details, and one of the first things they asked actually was whether I had insurance. And yes, I do. I did get insurance. When I first come out here, I got AXA Swadi Thailand insurance. What I'll do is I'll try and get a link for that below so that you guys can check it out. But for the most part, they really did a good job for this entirety of the stay and paperwork and basically everything else. But I'll explain a little bit more about that later on in this video. And just real quick, while people are wondering about the insurance, I actually got a whole year policy which cost me 26,000 Thai baht. I think it's about like 500 British pounds. I don't know what the conversion is. I'll put it on the screen now for you guys to check out. But yeah, that was for a whole 1 year insurance, basically from when I arrived to when I leave. But now, like I said, they took all of my vital signs, all my information about the insurance. They also done a COVID test. All of this kind of took about a half an hour kind of period. And then I sat down and I spoke to the doctor. And it actually turns out that this is the doctor that stayed with me for the entirety of my stay. Now, when I spoke to him, he said that after looking at my blood test results, because I've done an initial blood test, or within this first half an hour, don't forget, they said, oh, we'd like to keep you in for about 3 days to keep an eye on you. Basically, I think my white blood cell count was low, and also another kind of blood thing. I'll put it up on the screen what it was exactly. Basically, it stops you internal bleeding. I know, just a little bit concerned about it, and obviously how I was feeling, all my symptoms and everything else. They said, look, we want to keep you in for 3 days. So I was like, okay, that's great, not a problem. I went and got my stuff from home to come and stay for a bit, and then as soon as I returned to the hospital, they actually put me in a room straight away. I actually got a private room, and basically this room costs, I think, just over 20,000 Thai baht per night. Now there are different levels in the same hospital. I think there's like about 5 or 6 different types of room, maybe depending on different insurance policies, or if you want to pay a little bit extra, or if you're paying cash then you can choose a nicer room and so forth. And they got all sorts of different levels. They reassured me that absolutely everything was going to be covered for the entirety of my stay, and this was from the nurses as well. They seemed to know exactly what was covered in my policy and what wasn't. So the room itself was pretty basic. It was up on the 16th floor. It was a little bit dated, but for the most part, it was absolutely huge. You could probably stick 6 people in the room. It was massive. The bed was like one of those electric beds where you can recline it and decline it and all that sort of jazz. It wasn't the most comfortable bed. It's a hospital bed, but all of the bedding that come with the bed was really nice, and I actually got some good night's sleep while I was there in the hospital. Had a beautiful view across the city, and in typical Thai fashion, you could actually see another hospital outside of the window. They've actually got that many hospitals here in the city of Bangkok. Obviously not here, this is Bang San, but you get what I mean. You get what I mean. So yeah, it was nice to have a nice, really, come on. It's just not helping me. So basically it was within a few hours now of me turning up for the first time, getting everything checked, speaking to a doctor as well, and then getting put into a private room. So this was all within like 2 hours of me arriving, which is just amazing service. There's no way I would get this in the UK. I would still be sat in A&E after about 4 or 5 hours with no one caring, nobody taking a single like statistic or checking my blood pressure or anything. But here in Thailand, I'd had everything done. They checked my pulse, they checked my blood pressure, they even took blood samples. They just done absolutely everything to make my stay comfortable when I was there. Now every day following this, they basically come in every single morning, took blood from me so they could send it off, because it took 24 hours for some of these results to come back. Basically what they were doing was they were testing for a viral infection, because they basically said I have a virus of some kind and they wasn't too sure what it was. Obviously it wasn't COVID. I'd had a COVID test. They were testing for things like measles, German measles, and I think rubella and a bunch of other stuff. They were just testing a different virus every single day to try and find out what was wrong with me. Now I ended up staying there for 5 days because my white blood cell count was low and a few other things were low, and they just said that if there was some kind of internal bleeding, then there was no way they'd be able to do anything about it if I wasn't in the hospital. So that's why they kept me in for longer, and for the most part I felt like absolute garbage. So I was trying to eat as much as I could. I lost my appetite, and they wanted to keep an eye on how much I was eating as well as keeping me on a drip just to keep my body hydrated. So during this day, I actually had 2 doctors. There was a main doctor that was sort of overseeing the whole case, and then a secondary viral infection specialist. So every single morning, the viral infection specialist, just a tongue twister, would come in and basically see how I'm doing, ask about my symptoms, and basically give me an update on my previous day's blood results. And then a few hours later, my main doctor would come in as well and basically reiterate sort of the same kind of information, ask me how I'm feeling, but the communication would be a little bit better because his English was slightly better. Now on day 3, the doctor said to me that if some of my stats started going up, then I could basically go home and kind of relax there and just wait for the virus to take its course, because they couldn't find out what virus it was exactly. I think they tested for like the most dangerous ones first and sort of ruled them out, and basically it was just a case of my body just trying to fight it and basically making sure I feed myself and hydrate myself enough for my body to just basically just keep fighting the virus itself and just let nature take its course. Unfortunately on day 4 my stats were still going low, and day 5 they were still sort of quite low, and it was only on day 6 I think it was where they finally went up and they said, you know what, you should be okay to go and just relax and just do your thing at home, and then basically come back in a week's time to give another blood test. So I've still got to go back. I still feel slightly sick. I'm sort of up and down with how I'm feeling at the moment. Maybe it's based on what I'm eating and everything else. I'm not too sure. The virus is still clearly in somewhere. Still don't know what it is. Hopefully the next set of blood results that come back and more tests that they do will give me a bit more of an understanding of what's going on and maybe how to avoid it in the future. Now, food-wise, in the hospital, they provided food. Food was free, and the food that was provided was actually really, really good. Most people make jokes about hospital food in the UK because it tastes like it's just come off of a plane. But the food that they had here at the Paolo Hospital was absolutely amazing. They had Thai food, they had all sorts of food. And for the most part, I was able to actually order food from Grab and just order food in. There was one day I had pizza, there was another day I had pad Thai, there was another day I had something else. I was going to Black Canyon Coffee that was inside the hospital itself and getting food there as well. And yeah, it was okay. It was just nice. It was nice to be able to eat whatever food I wanted, because I don't think they allow this in certain hospitals, or well, not through my experience anyway. I don't know what it's like in the US or Australia, but in the UK, it's just not happening. You're not going to be able to order in food the way I did in the Bangkok hospital. So it was nice just to have that option there. Like I said, the food provided was absolutely amazing, but it was just nice to get my own food as and when I wanted to, just to sort of change the mood up a little bit.
ขออภัยที่ให้รอคุณลูกค้า
Robot service now.
ได้แล้วค่ะ
That's good.
ทานที่อร่อยนะคะ
So overall, after 5 nights in the hospital, basically over 6-day period, the bill was looking like 100,000 Thai baht. So if I had not had insurance and I had stayed in the hospital, it would have been just over 100,000 Thai baht. I'll put up exactly how much that is in US dollars and British pounds as well, to give you an understanding of how much this would have cost you had you not had travel or health insurance to cover it. Now, I had to pay 6,000 Thai baht of that. Basically, this was down to some extra tests that I wanted to get done. They asked me if I wanted to have some other tests, testing for different kinds of viruses, and I said yes, I'd like to know. And also I had a few more food options as well that were not on the menu. So yeah, I wanted to basically be as comfortable as possible. So I didn't mind paying 6,000 Thai baht, and for the insurance company to pay 100,000, it sounds like a good deal to me, considering my policy cost 26,000 baht for the whole thing anyways. So that is it for my hospital experience in Bangkok, Thailand. It was actually way better than I expected, and what a lot of people would expect as well. The medical services here in Thailand are absolutely amazing, and yeah, this experience basically just highlighted kind of what I already knew, really, based on my experience over the past 6 years of traveling here in Thailand. Now, like I said, if you hadn't had insurance, then it would have cost me over 100,000 Thai baht, and that is a tough pill to swallow, excuse the pun. So yeah, if you've got insurance, then don't worry about how you're going to be treated here in Thailand, because you know, they really do want to look after you. The staff are absolutely amazing. Everything is just provided for you, and it's done swiftly and professionally as well. I even got given paperwork at the end of my stay, basically with a printout of every single blood test and all of the results and absolutely everything, a breakdown of all of the costings. All of this was printed out for me and put into a folder and given to me when I left. So yeah, absolutely professional, really good stay, as much as it can be when you're feeling sick. And obviously I have a follow-up appointment to go and get more blood tests so they can carry on doing tests, and just basically making sure that I'm okay before they just finally say thank you for your stay. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Bear with me, guys. I'm still feeling sick, like I said. That's why I've come here to Bangsan for a few days, just to kind of rest and recovery. But yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next video, which will be about Bangsan. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys then. Peace.